Ragazzi, we are back looking at the World Cup and in particular the Serie A players. We just did match day 3. If you didn't catch that video, make sure you check it out. But now we're going to talk about match day 4 and all the Serie A players involved in match day 4. Before we get to Morocco versus Croatia, that's where the bulk of the Serie A players were in this match day. Let's look at some of the other games really quickly. All right, first look at Germany versus Japan. Another shocker in the World Cup. Germany lose 2-1 to Japan. Excellent performance by Japan, but unfortunately, no Serie A players for either Germany nor Japan. So we'll just move on. All right, now the mercy rule should have come into play in this next matchup. Spain versus Costa Rica. 7-0 was the victory for Spain. A complete drubbing in this one, but we're not going to talk about it either because no Spanish players in the league. Fabian Ruiz is gone. And no Costa Rican players just yet. Keylor Navas has not joined Napoli. So we're going to move on. Another entertaining game of the week, of that match day, I should say, was Belgium against Canada. Canada completely dominating the game. However, they lost the game, much like Roma, not capitalizing on their opportunities. And Belgium seemed like their one opportunity. They get the goal. They win 1-0. But there were two Serie A players on Belgium, none on Canada. Two Belgian players are Romelu Lukaku and Charles Ketelare. Neither of them played, so we really can't get into depth into them either. So let's just get into the main game that we're going to talk about. And that game is Morocco versus Croatia. Game ended 0-0. Despite being 0-0, a very entertaining game. Both teams had a good amount of Serie A players, so let's get into this. Starting with Morocco. Amrabat, the Fiorentina man, very good game by him. Defensive midfielder, played all 90 minutes, 87% passing accuracy, got 56 touches on the ball, did a pretty good job on there. Was excellent. I think it was 100% on long balls and tackles, one as well. He had 3 clearances in the game, including one goal line clearance, if you want to call it that, when Croatia was attacking in the second half. He also had 1 block, 1 interception, 9 recoveries of the ball, really good. Defensively, like I said, he was absolutely ever defensively. Croatia trying to bring it, trying to get some goals, but he was doing his job to keep Morocco in his. If I had to give him some bit of criticism, he did commit several fouls, but you expect it from a defensive midfielder. And as well, ground duels, he did not do very good. As a defensive midfielder, you want him to do a little bit better on that regard. But still, nonetheless, I think overall, a pretty good performance by Amrabat. I'm going to give him 7.5 out of 10 in this one. Moving on to Sabiri from Sampdoria, someone who we love on Serie A Sit Down. He came in on as a cameo, only had 8 minutes. He did a lot in his 8 minutes, honestly. But that doesn't mean it was good. He did a lot of bad in that 8 minutes. Passing accuracy is very poor, like 64%. 15 touches in that short amount of time. Passing accuracy on the long balls. I know Morocco's trying to score, but 0% completion percentage on long balls is constantly giving it away to them. Dispossessed several times. He did have 2 interceptions and 2 recoveries, as well as won his lone aerial duel. But for him, he's lucky. I'm not going to give him a rating with 8 minutes, though it was pretty poor performance by him. We expect a lot more out of Sabiri on Serie A Sit Down. The last Serie A player, well, Italian league player from Bari, Khedira, he did not get in this one. He did not play, so we are not going to talk about him. And that's pretty much it for Morocco in terms of Serie A players. Now let's move over to Croatia, who had several Serie A players as well. First, we're going to start with the Torino man, Vlasic. Played 45 minutes, pulled at halftime. Did not have that great of a game, honestly. He did get 2 shots on target, but passing was okay. 78% passing. It was okay, really, for a forward. He only had something like 20 touches of the ball. Lots of the ball was not going to the wings. He was very poor at dribbling as well as crosses. I think completed 0% on both of those. You expect, we've seen a lot of Vlasic. He does very well on the crosses, and in this game did very poor. Got to give it up to the Moroccan defense, but you expect a lot more out of Vlasic. And ground duels won, I think 17%. He was very poor in that regards. He was pulled at halftime. We're going to give him a rating of 5 out of 10. So he came off at halftime. Coming on for him is Mario Pasalic of Atalanta. He played the rest of the second half. From a passing perspective, he was much better. 93% passing accuracy by Mario Pasalic is what we expect with him. With Atalanta, he's a very fluid, very attacking type player. He too also had 20 touches of the ball, very similar to what Vlasic had in the first half. He was offsides one time. He also had 1 interception. Did get 3 recoveries of the ball. Pretty good. But really, if you look at it as a whole for that position, it was what let Croatia down in this game. He was only slightly better than Vlasic was, honestly. I'm going to give Pasalic 5.5 out of 10. Now moving on to one of the key cogs of Croatia, Marcelo Brozovic. He and Luka Modric really ran that midfield You could tell by the amount of touches that both of these guys had. Brozovic played all 90 minutes. The veteran, he did his job in the midfield. Exactly what you want Brozovic to do, he did in that job. 87% passing accuracy from the defensive midfielder role. He had an impressive 103 touches in the game. Modric also had 107 touches. The ball clearly was going through both of them to kind of get the action going. So they were key figures for Croatia in this one. Dribbling wise and long passing wise, Brozovic wasn't that great. 67%. It was okay, I guess. It's pretty decent, I guess. Dribbling wise, you want him to do a little bit better, but that's not really what he's known for, right? It's for stopping the ball. As you'd expect, he was 100% from tackles. He had 1 block, 1 interception, 6 balls recovered. That's what a defensive midfielder should be doing. He committed 3 fouls. Yeah, it is what it is. In ground duels, he was not that great in ground duels. But overall, as a game, I thought it was a pretty strong game for Marcelo Brozovic. I'm going to give him 7.5 out of 10. Now, the last Croatian player is Erlich from Sassuolo. He did not play, so we're not going to give him any rating. But yeah, that's it for Serie A players in this match day. It was all in the Morocco versus Croatia game. A very entertaining game. All the games were very entertaining, but we only care about the Serie A players in this one, right? So that was a wrap of match day 4. Check this video here to get more World Cup coverage of our Serie A players, and we'll catch you next video.